Just because it's the bye week doesn't mean we still can't talk Auburn football. Let's do that on this Friday edition of the Uptempo Podcast.
You are now listening to the War Report Podcast Network.
Let's go. What's up, Auburn family? TGIF, man. Hope everybody out there has had a good week. Little weekend all for us, Blake. I'm your host, Dustin Smith, joined as always by my guy, Blake Lane. Like I said, no Auburn football this week, guys, but we still got some other games to get in here and talk about, and we figured we'd get in here tonight, kind of look at the statistics. Blake, look at how our Tigers are doing at the 5-game mark here, almost halfway. How are you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing good, Dustin. Glad to be here. Ready to talk a little Auburn football like always. It's kind of a down week when Auburn's not playing. Hard to get the juices flowing, but still, there's football tonight. There's football for like 53 out of the next 54 days or something crazy like that. So we'll take it, brother. We will take it, and I'm excited. Anytime we got football on the television, I'm down for it.
100%. A lot of good games in the SEC slate this weekend, man. A lot of games at eyeballs at College Station, eyeballs in Missouri. I'm interested to see how the Missouri Tigers do, man. And I just want that game to be really physical. I don't really care how it wins. We'll make our pick at the end of the day here, and I want my pick to win out. But truthfully, I just want LSU to get beat up as much as possible. That's why all I really care about in that one. But we're going to hop in here, man, and take kind of a deep dive tonight into some of these stats and just kind of if we thought, go back to what we thought in the preseason. Is just going the way we thought it was? How can it be improved? How much can it be improved if it can be improved? Before we get into that, some injury news came out this weekend. Masad Neely-Kite is out for the year with a torn bicep. Huge blow, Blake, to our defensive line in the depth there.
You remember we talked about it before the season started, right? And we said that this was the last thing that could really happen to this Auburn team was we couldn't afford to start losing guys, right, Dustin? So now you really need Keldrick Falk to be that freshman. You know, you need him to step up. And, Auburn went through this last year, all right? So you had guys go down last year, and so – you're looking at these younger guys, and it's hard to say, hey, next man up, right? It's hard to say that. But I feel like you got a five-star sitting right there that we've seen flashes, but now it's time that you got to get it there, all right? You got to let loose and go get it. So we're thankful that we have him. Little brother on the way. They're going to be a deadly combo. But I still think this group is going to be okay. It's unfortunate what happened. But it's been plug and play, man. Plug and play and next man up is as bad as I hate to say that. But I think we're going to be all right, Dustin.
I hear you. That's what I was worried about. I'm starting to get concerned with the depth, especially in that interior part of the defensive line. You just going to have to move some guys around. Some guys are going to have to play a lot of snaps, but we talked about it. Everyone talked about it all season. The guys weren't there. They were going to have to stay healthy. And, it's funny because so many people during the game were calling that a fake injury, that we were trying to slow down the Georgia tempo. And turns out it's not quite what it was. I know how it looked. It did look like it, but, not the case. Austin Keys, Blake, they said that the way I read this was, and you can correct me if I misread it, but they basically said that he might be available here towards the end of the season. I think Hugh's words were, we're going to make a decision on that. And I think the way they're looking at that would probably be, what is our record? Can we still save his eligibility with a medical red shirt or whatever the case may be? I don't even know if it has to be medical because it could just be. I'm not sure what Austin Keys' red shirt situation is, but I know that he only played in one game, so he would still have, if he hasn't used his regular red shirt already, he would still have that available. If not, I'm pretty sure he would be able to get cleared for a medical. Never know with the NCAA. They're coming out today and saying, we messed up with this North Carolina wide receiver. Whatever, bro.
Weird, bro. That was so weird.
Just a poop show. But but yeah, dude. What do you think about that one? Because with me, it's almost like it's record pending, right? Like if we're sitting there at like 4-4 and he can come back, I'm kind of saying I'd probably save him. But if we make some noise here and maybe we're 5-2 or 4-3 or something like that, and he can come back, and then it's like, okay, we'll come back and finish strong. Especially if another guy goes out, because Nixon and Eugene, we're going to get into that here. We'll talk about Diva. They're playing a ton of snaps.
Yeah, that's the thing is, what does it look down 2 to 3 weeks down the road? What does it look like? Are we even more beat up? Do we need the body? Do we need Keys back? What is the record looking like? Are we, in contention to win 9 games, maybe 8 to 9 games? It's all about are we in contention to make some noise and go to a nice bowl game or something like that? I'm not sure if he plays again this year.
Yeah. So kind of the same thing with Damari. Now, they said he could be back soon. So maybe if he can be back soon, then they're going to let him go. But I also kind of feel the same way about that one. Let's say he's not able to go with LSU. Maybe he's questionable for Ole Miss. I don't know. He might be able to go versus LSU from my understanding of it.
Yeah.
But so that's kind of the same situation there. Let's wait and see, because we're not hurting it running back right now, but you're one play away. If Batee goes down, then you're looking and going, oh, God, we need Damari. So, just interesting stuff to watch there as well. But we need these guys to get healthy, man. I want JD back versus LSU.
And Jarquez with the ankle, I mean.
Yeah, Simp.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Damari, and I think if he was to come back, I think you would go back to seeing the 3 backs, and I still think he would get his touches. But T would probably get what Damari was getting now, but I still think Damari would get his. So, we need him back, man. We need Damari back.
Yeah, I hear you. All right, man. Let's hop over here and look at these statistics. And like we mentioned Simpson there real quick, he should be good to go. But we definitely saw at the end of that fourth quarter versus Georgia, it is a big drop off when Jalen Simpson is not in the game. There's been a lot of talk this week about what exactly happened with Brock Bowers. Jalen Simpson got hurt.
Yeah.
But look, Blake, let's get over and talk about some of these stats, man. So first one I wanted to touch on was coming off of Saturday versus Georgia, we ran the ball really well. I thought we ran the ball pretty well. And then also a concern coming into the season was stopping the run. But through 5 games here, we're averaging 202 yards a game rushing, and we're giving up 128.6 yards a game. So from the rushing standpoint, Blake, if you would have told me before the season Auburn's going to be running for 200 yards, I would have said, cool, we need to do that, and that's successful. So I think that the offensive line has had some struggles in short yardage situations. The 3rd and 1, sometimes they're just not making the plays, and obviously the penalties were cleaned up a little bit Saturday. We'll clean up a lot Saturday, but through the first 4 games, the penalties on the O-line were a problem. But overall, I think that the running game has been upgraded significantly. I think that the offensive line that we brought into the portal was a big upgrade from what we had last year. Your overall thoughts on just how we're running the ball through 5 weeks here, Blake?
Yeah, man, a huge upgrade from last year. A huge upgrade. We kind of went into the season thinking, that we were going to run the football. We knew that Hugh and Philip Montgomery wanted to throw it. You want to impress the Perry Thompsons and the Ryan Williamses and all that stuff, the guys, the Nikars and things like that. But we knew we were going to have to lean on this run game a good portion of the season, right? Yeah. And you got to look at guys like you mentioned, the transfers, guys like a Gunnar Britton and an Avery Jones. Look, I know Avery had the bad snap and everything, but these dudes, they've been workhorses for majority of the snaps, brother. Like there's been some times where Auburn's popped, and I think they've played their ass off, Dustin. I do. A huge improvement from where we were at last year.
And one point I wanted to make too real quick was they've only played 5 games together.
Yeah.
So if we're already averaging 202, we just ran the ball very well. I thought we could have ran the ball well versus A&M, who has a great defensive front. We got away from it, truthfully. Yep. And the score kind of dictated that. A lot of things went into that, but still, I stick to the run when you can do it. Just how I feel about that. But I think that we can run the ball versus anybody. It's really hard to not feel that way now. Mm-hmm. We are going up against our next game is going up against the worst rushing defense in the SEC. And also, there are, I believe, 10th, maybe 11th in the SEC in passing.
Yep.
And I'm going to hear a lot of stuff about how Robbie can't throw. Go back and look at that game last year. I believe Robbie threw for 375 yards. So
Something
that
like
that LSU defense can be caught. And if you're going to run, if they're dead last in the SEC in stopping the run, Ole Miss just ran through them, bro.
Yep.
We should be able to go into Baton Rouge on Saturday night, and we've been able to do that. Listen, we lost a game where Kenny Irons ran for 200, right? Like, we can go in there and run the damn ball. So for the rest of the year, I spoke on it on the live show the other day. This has got to be the thing, dude. Like, this has got to be it, because now we'll get into the passing part of this, and I don't know how much the passing can be improved. I don't. If Auburn's gonna, my goal going down this stretch here is 4-3. I would like us to go 4-3. That puts us at 7-5.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, 5-2 gets you to 8-4, and that's freaking fantastic. Mm-hmm. And that's not out of the question, but I haven't seen. There's some performances here that make me go, well, let's just roll with 4-3. But if we can go 4-3 down this stretch, I think a big part of that is going to be running the football. You can go into Baton Rouge and win this game. There's some other things you got to do. We'll get into next week, but you're not going to do it if you don't do this. You got to keep doing this. This is the one thing that we can hang our hat on. Those running backs keep protecting the ball and don't put it on the ground like they did versus Cal, or the close calls that we had versus A&M. Protect the football, and we'll be okay here. So, yeah, I agree with you. Big, significant upgrade. Mm-hmm. On to the passing, Blake. We're at 156.2 a game. And if you take out UMass, where you didn't light it up through the air, and if you take out Sanford, where you clearly decide, like, that was your best game passing, but it's your FCS opponent, and you decide that we're going to air this thing out, and you still had 2 interceptions in the middle of that big passing day. So still wasn't the cleanest looking situation. Still didn't really come out of that game feeling too confident with our passing game. Still saw things that you had to work on. And then obviously you go to A&M the next week and it looks the way it looks. For me, bro, I never expected it to be great. I never expected it to be something that would light the world on fire. But if I never would have guessed that versus I don't know exactly what our total passing yards were versus Cal, but I know it wasn't over 150. If you would have asked me before the season, and Auburn by week 5 in 3 of Auburn's Power 5 games, will they have thrown for 200 passing yards? I would have said, hell yeah, bro. We brought in Hugh Freeze. And this isn't a total knock on Hugh Freeze. I think a lot of what's going to happen this week is I think a lot of this offense is getting Hugh Freezed this week.
Mm-hmm.
Who freezified? I don't know the right word for it, right? But like, I think it's going to look it looked different. It looked a lot different versus Georgia after Hugh said, I got my hand in it this week. Mm-hmm. And I think for the rest of the season that it's going to look a lot different. I do think that's going to include dumbing down the passing game. I think Hugh's over it, bro. I think he doesn't trust any of the quarterbacks, and I think that he doesn't trust maybe 1 or 2 of the receivers. I think you're going to see a run the ball attack and just dumbed down type passing game the rest of the way. I guess, Blake, just how disappointed are you in it? And then is there anything that can be done to make it better?
We threw for 94 yards against Cal.
So that's 3 Power 5 games where you haven't gone over 100.
Yeah. Look, I told you the other night how disappointed I was. Yeah. It was one of the biggest surprises to me, just because I felt like Peyton Thorne, I didn't expect him to come in and throw for 3,000 yards. All right. Like I said the other night, I didn't expect him to come in and throw for 28 touchdowns and whatever. But this has been bad. All right. Him getting shell shocked at A&M, I didn't expect that.
What are his numbers on the year?
His numbers are, he is 59 of 94 for 643 yards. That is a 62% completion percentage. His longest throw is 41 yards. He's got 4 TDs, 4 picks, and he has been sacked 13 times. And one thing is, let's not put all those sacks on our offensive line either.
No, for sure.
Let's don't get into that game. And I guess that's one reason I was so disappointed is because, he holds onto the ball like it just seems like forever, Like sometimes I'm just like, all right, get rid of it, and then it's spin move in the pocket, sacked. Now he did a better job against Georgia. All right, I'm not knocking him there. The only way I really think this thing can get better, Dustin, is if we can implement the screen game a little better. And what happened to the screen game that we were supposed to run like that? That's what I heard in the offseason. I still don't see it. I don't see it. Like when have we thrown a screen to a running back this year? I haven't seen it. Maybe I missed it. I don't know. Just short, easy throws. I feel like it was much better against Georgia. All right, but I think we got to start early, man, and getting this dude comfortable. And then you can kind of open it up a little bit. But I agree with you. I think we need to start leaning on the run. And when we're driving it down somebody's throat, let's not try to get fancy. Please. All right? Let's not try to get fancy. Let's keep pushing that tater in between them tackles and getting 4 or 5 yards of carry, brother. Like sometimes I just don't get it. I don't get what's running through our mental. But that's the biggest thing is I feel like our fan base too goes back and forth between Peyton and Robbie and Holden, and I don't think whoever you put in there.
Yeah.
I just think like throwing the ball isn't this team's identity. And I agree with you to a point where, and I know Ike touches on this a lot, if these game plans keep looking the way they've been looking, doesn't it favor Robbie a little bit?
It's not even an anti-Peyton Thorne thing with that, right? It's just if this is the game that you're going to call, have the more dynamic athlete in there.
Yeah. And I don't know. It's just going to be a struggle, man. It's going to be one of those years where Auburn has an elite defense. Yeah, screw it. I'll call them elite. Yeah, an elite defense. They're lacking one thing, in my opinion. All right, pass rush. They can't get to the quarterback with 4 people. They can't. But I still think they're elite. I still think they're one of the best defenses that I've seen this year in college football. And I think Kirby Smart I think he'll comment on it. I think he'll let you know how good they are. I think it's going to be like a 2019 year, man, where you kind of look back and you're like, dude, if we would have had a quarterback, we're sitting here going, man, with that defense, if we would have had a quarterback, where are we at, And don't get me wrong, Bo Nix, whatever, he was just a true freshman, man. He wasn't ready for the moment. Not in 2019. He wasn't ready for that. All right. That's the reason there's only been – it's like the number's like less than 10 true starting quarterbacks to start in SEC history. Okay. So I hope the more the season goes, Dustin, the lesser defenses that we play besides that Alabama game, because I look at Arkansas's defense. I feel like that defense, we can attack that defense. Ole Miss's defense, they dang sure hadn't showed me nothing. We all know Mississippi State, they're a decent defense, but they spend a lot of time out on the field because their offense can't move it 10 yards. And then, obviously, you're going to move the ball against Vanderbilt. You should have a day against Vanderbilt. So I think the lesser defenses that we play moving on the rest of the year, I feel like we could have a little bit of success, but it might be tough sledding through the air. So I think we're going to have to lean on that run game.
Yeah, so on time of possession on the year, we are at 29:52, and our opponents is 29 minutes, 52 seconds.
Yep.
And our opponents are at 30 minutes and 7 seconds. So damn near even. I would say that in these last 7 games, if you can flip that a little bit, if you can get to that 35 mark, 36 mark, control that ball a little bit longer, because I let off telling you, we all know, went down a defensive lineman, went down a guy that helps us stop the run. That's another body down, right? And they're going to play football. Somebody's going to get hurt in Baton Rouge. Somebody on defense is going to get hurt. Saturday night versus LSU. That's going to happen. So the more that stacks, the more this depth concern on defense will continue to rise. So help your defense out by running the ball. Let's get this. It's not bad. You're damn near even there. 29:52 to 30:07. Let's bump that up by 4 to 6 minutes here and control this clock. Use the new clock rules to our advantage. Shorten the game. Helps out with our lack of depth on both sides of the ball, truthfully. And then you kind of you find yourself in these bigger games versus these bigger opponents that are more talented than you. If you do that, you shorten the game. You find yourself in a scenario like you were in Saturday versus Georgia, and then it's just about making those big plays. Let's get over here to the defensive side, Blake. Again, if you would have told me before the season that we're only giving up 128.6 points a game on the ground for rushing, I would have said, hell yeah. Don't have the number right in front of me, but I believe that it was 172.6 last year, what we gave up defensively rushing the ball. And probably all of that came versus Penn State, to be honest with you, Penn State and Arkansas. But big step up here. And then in passing, hey, ain't nothing changed over here. Jack boys, lockdown, DBU, whatever you want to call it, only giving up 128.6 points per game. Guys are getting hurt in that secondary, and guys continue to step up. Blake, you're the talk of the War Report Network with your prediction of Jalen Simpson getting 5 picks. He's 1 away. He's doing his thing. He's at 4 right now. Again, we saw how important he was going out of the game versus Georgia in that fourth quarter. He should be good to go versus LSU. That's good news for us. So the secondary, we were all high on them in the offseason. They've lived up to the billing. Just what do you think about this rush defense?
Look, I think that they have done – I think they've been leaps and bounds better than what we expected, right? That's all we heard coming out of camp was they can't stop the run. They can't stop the run. We're going to get gashed on the ground. And I think guys like Kite, who unfortunately we just lost for the rest of the year, Marcus Harris has been playing his tail off, Jason Jones plugging in there. I think our linebackers have played, for the most part, have played better than what people have expected. And obviously our secondary is just that. I mean, it's unbelievable. And the creating turnovers has been magical this year. I mean, I can't even – it felt good, brother. Like not having to go, 4 games this year without seeing a turnover.
Kept us in the game Saturday.
Yeah. So, I mean, and we were really close from getting another one, a forearm away. So this run defense, man, it has its moments where we got some linebackers that might overrun a play here and there. We're not going to say any names, but it has happened. But for the most part, guys like a Larry Nixon III, I think he has stepped in, and from sideline to sideline, he has been a dang beast, brother. Like that guy can flat out get after it. And I know it started early and slow, and we were just kind of like, hey, where's he at? Where's he at? But as the season has gone on, this kid can play SEC football, and he's showing it. And obviously, Eugene Asante leading the team in tackles, having him step. Where would this defense be without 9? Where would this defense be without 9?
We'd be 2-3. We would have lost to Cal.
Yeah, absolutely, no doubt. Look, the blitz the other day against Georgia that I talked about the other night, he timed it up perfect. He timed it up perfect. Look, Carson Beck just made a throw, all right? And sometimes you just got to tip your cap, right? You just got to say, hey, brother, you delivered. You made the play. I made a play too, but I was just a hair late. And you stepped in and you delivered. But he timed it up perfect. And I think the dude is playing himself, like Jake said the other night. I think he's playing himself on the draft boards. And we might get a short glimpse of him on the Plains.
Yeah, for sure. Quick correction, I misspoke. I read the what we're giving up rushing twice. I read the opponent rushing yards as the passing. I said we're giving up 128 rushing and passing. We're giving up 194.2 yards passing per game. So just wanted to correct that if you're listening on audio. But yeah, still giving up only 194. You're still giving up under 200 yards a game passing in the year 2023.
Unheard of.
Yeah, like it's locked down, bro. It's locked down, and we're in the bottom of the SEC in pass rush. The point you've been making all year, especially, we have to create it. We don't generate it before. We don't, and I hate to be this guy, but we're going to keep saying it. It's not going to happen.
Yeah,
it's just not going to happen this year. You need Malik Blockton. You need those guys to come. That's a position we're gonna have to get a couple guys out of the transfer portal as well. We need TJ Lindsey, a guy like Darren Reed. Remember when I was like, I really, really wish that Darren Reed would have got, maybe it's Deron Reed, but he's a top 300 player last year, defensive lineman, and I just really wanted him to get into spring ball. And I'm hoping that he can crack the rotation sometime towards the end of the year. Not sure if we'll see it, but that's a guy that in the future is going to contribute for us. He might not be ready right now. It happens with freshmen. Keldrick Falks are 1 in a million, and Keldrick is nowhere near what he's going to be. He's nowhere near what he's going to be. He's figuring it out, putting up the grades that he's putting up. He had over like a 91 grade. Maybe it was versus A&M. Just balling, bro. Like Keldrick's that dude, but you need more of them. You need 4 more Keldrick Falks down there. You talked about 2019 a minute ago. You get your ass that D-line. Get them boys right there. We need something like that, man. But so the bodies just aren't there. The guys just aren't there to generate it with 4 right now. So that makes what the secondary is doing even more impressive to me. I don't see a lot of coverage bust. I don't see a lot of mistakes. Sure, it'll happen. But for the most part, man, and when young guys have to step up, Kay and Lee had to step up. Nehemiah has not got right all year. Kay and Lee was ready from the jump. Now, second day of spring practice, when they were coming out saying, Kay and Lee is getting reps with the 1, and you kind of stepped back and said, all right. Okay, that's not normal. Last guy I heard about doing that was Carlton Davis. Guy's a dude, man. Like, Kay and Lee's a dude. Caleb has stepped up and played nice. Obviously, he had a little situation to deal with at the beginning of the season. He had a situation he had to deal with in the offseason. He's coming on nice. He's having to play more snaps than they probably expected him to play right now. I think he's playing well. He's only going to continue to improve. And that's something that I don't want to let go unnoticed too, Blake, is this year might not be, it's not going to be what we would all, our dream scenario as Auburn fans record-wise. But, man, you got some guys that are getting reps. And that's kind of where I'm starting to fall on this wide receiver room. I know it's kind of off topic, but I'm getting to the point to where if Shane Hooks and Jair Shorter don't start showing something, then let Cam Brown and Amari Kelly get those reps. Let Caleb Burton get some reps, because, and I know he's a slot guy, and Var and Jay Fair are kind of your most consistent guys in the slot. But I'm just saying, man, like at some point with some of these 1-year rentals that we got basically from the portal, if they're not stepping up and performing, then let's let the young guys, if the season goes off the rails, which I don't think it will, but if it goes off the rails, you're going to hear me say, okay, holding time, because you got to see what you got. I don't think we'll get to that point. Maybe the quarterback play will be so bad we get to that. I don't, we'll see. I hope not. But I'm just saying, man, that's something to think about as well, too, is young guys getting reps. Is it ideal that Keldrick Falk's about to play all the reps he's about to play? No, that's not what you would want. A true freshman coming in, having to play so many reps. But he's going to be better for it next year. So, Kay and Lee, like, he's getting the bumps out the way now. There's not even a whole lot of bumps. Caleb, figuring it out now. And we're going to be dangerous, man. The young guys are getting reps. That's another reason why I want to see Cobb continue to get reps on the running back spot. I want to see Damari get back in there and get reps. And look, we thought Jarquez was going to be going pro. I think he's coming back next year if this continues this way. I don't think his draft stock, I hate to say it, has probably plummeted pretty significantly here. So just a lot of stuff to think about too when you're trying to look at the future. But back on topic of the defense, man, I am impressed with the only giving up 128.6 a game, because like we talked about here, lack of bodies. I think it's a lot of scheme. And it is what it is. I'm just going to say it. Right now, the defensive staff, all of them, McGriff, Etheridge, Aldridge, all the way up to Roberts. And Jeremy Garrett, right, defensive line coach. Yeah. So all those guys, I think that they're coaching up. I think that everybody that is, well, I don't want to say everybody, but the majority of the guys that have returned from last year's team on defense have gotten better. And I believe that the guys like Larry Nixon, I think you're getting everything you can out of a Larry Nixon. Like, good evaluation, got him in here. He's performing. We need him right now. He's stepping up. Great job. Coach Josh Aldridge doing a great job recruiting, doing a great job of coaching the guys on the field and making them better. So I give the defensive staff just A+ as far as what they've done with what they have. And it's so impressive for the secondary to be this good with the lack of pass rush up front. And when guys like Keontae going down and guys like Donovan being banged up, you're depending on Nehemiah Pritchett, a senior 5-year guy at this point, right? And he hasn't even been able to go yet. So I think that what the defensive coaches have done schematically to keep us in the games is to have this elite defense, as you call it, without elite talent, especially don't have elite depth, is really, really impressive, man. So just kudos to the entire defensive staff from what they've been able to do so far this season and just keeping us in these ball games. And it gives you hope when you look at going to Baton Rouge and saying, okay, well, their defense is sus. And if we can make some noise and keep playing D the way we've been playing, we can come out of that game with a dub. And then you look at Ole Miss at home and say, play defense the way you've been playing, and you have a chance. And then you have all those winnable games after that. And then you go into Bama and you're like, keep playing defense that way with that Jordan Hare crowd, you got a chance. And you look at Bama's offense and you say, we should be able to lock that down. So it's just, it gives you hope for the rest of the season. Okay, I got this one unit that I can depend on. And even though bodies keep falling, regardless of what our coaches have there, we have faith in them at this point. They'll plug guys in, where they belong.
Yeah, and, looking at the LSU game, Dustin, I know that LSU has neighbors and their receivers are electric and all that. But it feeds into our secondary. And I know Jaden Daniels can use his legs, but sometimes I think he tries to use them too much. And, yeah, the offense is clicking for him and everything. That's great. But they still haven't been able to really run the football. Like, they're just one-dimensional to me. And it's Jaden Daniels using his legs in the run game. So I know it's in Baton Rouge at night, but I think Auburn has a damn good shot to win this game, more than what people are giving them credit for. Their offense just has to produce. The Auburn offense has to produce. That's it. And you have the opportunity to produce because this defense just give up 700 yards to Ole Miss. 700.
LSU's right? Defense, bro. LSU's.
Yes, LSU's. Look, I was watching Matt Moscano the other day on ESPN Radio out of Louisiana, and he was saying that LSU fans think the 2020 LSU defense was bad. Well, welcome to 2023 because the 2023 defense is piss poor.
It's all.
Look, they can't cover. The only person that can get to the quarterback is Harold Perkins, and I don't know what they're doing with him.
They don't know.
Yeah, they don't even know. No, like electric pass rush. It lacked in the second half against Florida State that night to open up the year. I think there's an opportunity for Auburn to win this game, and you can call me a homer and an orange and blue goggle wearer or whatever. I don't care. I think Auburn has a chance to go to Baton Rouge. The way this defense is playing, what you saw last Saturday, they can use this bye week to improve the passing game, and you don't have to improve it much. You ain't got to improve it much. I'm not asking you to go out here and throw for 250 yards a game. I'm asking you to go out here and throw for 175. If Auburn can throw for 175 yards and run the football, they can win in Baton Rouge, okay?
You talking about doubling up, boy. You talking about doubling up on the passing.
Hey, that's all I need. That's all I need because your defense is going to create a turnover.
Mm-hmm.
Your defense is going to create a turnover, so that's all you need. I mean, yeah. I feel like Auburn has a shot, man. And what really hurts is like you look at Keontae, Dustin, and if Keontae plays in that game last Saturday, I think we win. I do. I think we win. If Keontae Scott would have been available, I think we beat Georgia.
Yeah.
Now, it sucks because, you're not going to have him for the LSU game. You're probably not going to have him for the Ole Miss game. That's the one game where I would really like to have him. It's just, man, because that was the one that hurt the most, man. That was
talking. I know when you're talking about when you say throw for 175. We go back to these numbers real quick. So if you're running for 202 a game and you're passing for 156, and again, that is really inflated by a Samford game and a little bit of a UMass game.
Yeah.
But if you just got that to 200, then you're averaging 200 rushing and 200 passing. And then like 400 is not lighting the world on fire, but that's pretty damn balanced. And with the turnovers you're creating on defense, you would say, all right, man. So like it's just with like you just said, man, with the way you're running the ball, if you just found if you just hit some of the plays that are there, if you just hit that wheel route versus again, hit the layups, dog, hit the gimmies, and LSU's gonna give them to you.
And our wide receivers need to step up, like you mentioned earlier. Look, when your leading receiver only has 198 yards through 5 games, and that's Jay Fair. Yeah, we're in trouble. We're in trouble.
39 a game, right? 39 yards per game. Come on, bro.
We're in trouble. We're in trouble. Once again, Auburn lacks. They lack potential at receiver, man. They lack the star-studded guy that can go get it. We thought Shane Hooks was going to be that guy. Guess what? We haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
Not knocking him, but I mean, look, I need you to make that play at A&M. All right, I need you. The game against Samford, I know it was a risky throw. The ball bounced right off his hands and it ended up getting picked. Like, we got to catch the football. MJJ, I need you bringing that ball in on the sideline, brother. Like, we got to go out and make plays. You want to beat teams like the caliber of Georgia and LSU and Alabama, then I need our wide receivers to step up and make plays down the field. That could also help Peyton because I told you this a couple weeks ago, man. It to me, it just looks like, do I throw it?
Mm-hmm.
Is he going to catch it? Because you hit Cam Brown on that 3rd and long. You hit him right in the hands out at A&M. Yeah. What was that? What did he run a dig route? Something. I can't remember. It was like 3rd and 13.
Yeah, he ran right to the marker and came in.
Yeah. And Peyton put it on the money and he dropped it. Come on, man. Come on. We got to get better. The bye week is the time to improve because there is still something to play for in this season, Dustin.
Yeah, that's why I haven't been a big fan of the game plan, but I haven't just gone in because it's like, well, I also see the plays that are there that aren't being made. So I just, that's a good play they draw up on the wheel route to get Jay Fair wide open. You don't hit it. So how can I be mad at Phillip or Hugh or whoever the hell called the play? And then you talk about Cam Brown. It's like, all right, I'm mad at Peyton Thorne for not making the wheel route throw to Jay Fair. And then later on in the game, he makes the throw on the big 3rd down. And the receiver that we've all been hyping up for a year and a half doesn't catch it. So, what are you supposed to do? Before we get into our picks for SEC, one more stat I want to kind of touch on. And these are a little bit off, on offense, it's 34.89. On defense, it's 34.97. I just rounded it both up to 35. It's basically the same thing. On offense, only converting on 35% on 3rd down, and defense giving up 35%, but last week it was around 25%. And then you give up 8 for 14, I believe. And really it's the 3rd and longs. The 3rd and 12 stands out, but there's been some other ones this year too, where we were giving up on 3rd long, and we're going to dig that dead horse up and beat him again. But lack of pass rush on 3rd and long is kind of where that comes from. You want to drop your guys back because they got to pass it, but you're not generating any pressure. So then they stand there and they find the holes in the defense. Or you're like, okay, got to get some pressure here on 3rd down. but you can't generate it with 4, so you have to bring an extra linebacker, or Ron Roberts will do it with a safety, a nickel, whatever, and then that leaves a hole, and they find that. So it's just damn if you do, damn if you don't. If you can't generate pressure with 4, at least sometimes on these third downs.
It happened against Sanford. I remember there was like a 3rd and 11 or 3rd and 12, and we ended up, I think we brought like a safety blitz, and the dude just sat down in the middle of the field and said, "Hey, I'm open." All right, he ran about an 8-yard little curl route, and he sat down in there, and he catches the ball, turns upfield, bang, first down. 3rd and 11. All right, that's what killed us last Saturday too, man. We couldn't get off the field on 3rd down. You had plenty of opportunities, especially in the second half. And 3rd and longs too, and Carson Beck just had all day to throw the football. I think that has to improve drastically in Baton Rouge. All right, you got to put pressure on Jaden Daniels. If you don't remember last year, Jaden Daniels crumbled under pressure. I know he grew as the year went on, right? He got better. But if you put a hand in his face, like Verse did with Florida State, first game of the year, you put a hand in his face and he will make mistakes. All right? You touch him up and he will make mistakes. We have to find a way, especially on 3rd down, man, to find pressure on the quarterback. Make them make quick throws, Dustin. That is the big thing to me. On offense, hey, it's just going to be tough sledding, brother. It's just going to be tough sledding. It's just gonna be tough sledding. I mean, we can't even get a 3rd and 1 against the number 1 team in the country, man. And then we line up 4th and 1 and can't get that. So I don't know. It's multiple things on offense, right? It's bad snaps. It's miscommunication, not being able to line up right. That's a big deal to me. You know, we had to burn a timeout. What, 2 minutes into the game the other day?
Yeah.
And Hugh sitting here going, "What's going on, fellas?" Like, and then, I mean, 3rd down, you call a timeout. You think you're about to get you think you're about to draw something up, and you come out and you run a draw or something like that, and you're just scratching your head. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think offense is just going to be tough sledding for the rest of the year.
I agree with you. All right, we're going to get in here and make our SEC picks. Before we do, quick announcements, guys. Home Field dropped some new stuff this week, man. Go over to homefieldapparel.com. If you have not used the code UPTEMPO yet, use the code all caps UPTEMPO for 15% off your first purchase. They got 2 new shirts that dropped last weekend for the Georgia game. So go over there, get those, man. Use that code and help yourself out. Get a little discount. Also, go over to the warreportshop.com. I continue to get people, Blake, asking me on the DMs, how can I help support you guys? I want some merch. Where's the merch at? Just got a DM about this last night. Go to the warreportshop.com. Go on there and check out the Level Up Up-Tempo t-shirt, man. Get you one of those. And things are nice. They look good. It'll help us out as well. And if you want to sign up for the memberships, you can do that. You'll see the join button somewhere there on your screen. Most of y'all are having a hard time doing it on your phone, so you have to do it on your desktop. But tons of exclusive content coming out for you guys. We're working on some stuff. I got some different ideas that we're going to do. Haven't put up a recruiting pod for this week. I'm going to make the guys up to you this weekend. We'll do something. Just like I talked, our members kind of know, man, I got some health stuff going on. I have surgery coming up. Also, my girlfriend has surgery coming up. So it's just been car troubles. It's just been a lot of stuff going on this week, man. So, but that stuff is coming out to you guys. I appreciate all y'all. And we're really going to work on some new stuff to keep pumping those out. But appreciate all you guys in the memberships. Love y'all. If we've got over 30 members, and we've only got 5 or 6 in our group chat right now on Twitter. So get in the group chat, man. We're having a good time. It's not even on game days. We've been talking today, cutting up. So if you want to get in there, man, and hang out with us, that's the place to do it. So hop over there, follow us on Twitter. Our @s are right there, at the Uptempo Pod for Blake, at DNickShaw28 for me. Our members, get in there, man. We'll find you. We'll put you in the group chat, and we'll have a good time. All right. So last week, Blake made a little more separation on the picks. I rolled with A&M or Arkansas over A&M. I was wrong. I did go with Kentucky over Florida. Got that one right. And then I also missed on, what'd you beat me on else, Blake? Got it right. Tennessee. Yep. I picked South Carolina knowing looked at all the statistics for how bad South Carolina was up front and still picked them. Probably my worst pick of the season. So I will own that one. I just wanted the Gamecocks to show me something, and they showed me something.
Didn't show you much.
It didn't show me much. So Blake's 44-10. I'm 42-12. All right. I don't want to start off with the big one. I'll start off with this one. Vandy at UF. This is a good one. Don't miss this one. Turn on your TVs. You can't miss this one. Big SEC East battle. Who you got, Blake? You got the Gators here?
I got the Gators, but I think if Billy Napier loses this game, he's in trouble.
Yeah. Yeah. At Florida, bro. If the Doors come in there and get this one.
This would be back-to-back losses to Vandy. I'm just telling you, look, they can't stop the run. They got gashed by Ray Davis and the Kentucky Wildcats last Saturday. I picked them. I thought Florida was going to win the game. Mertz didn't play well. They're not a good football team. I don't know what happened in that Tennessee game. They just played lights out that night. And, man, look, somebody called him the Cajun Harsin, and I lost it. All right. They called Billy Napier the Cajun Harsin. All right. I wish I could find it on Twitter, but it was the funniest thing I have seen, man. I died laughing. But yeah, look, I think Florida does enough on the ground. I think they're going to slimy this one up. And their two-headed backfield. Vandy's just not a good defense, man. They can't stop the run. They can't stop the pass. Give me Florida.
Yeah. I'm only picking Florida here because they're at home. I'm having hit all year how I feel about Florida. This is going to be one of the last wins they get. So I hope that they enjoy it while they get it. What you got?
You brought something up to me right there. This could be one of the last wins I get. Bro, I got booed off Twitter for saying that they could lose their last 6 games. All right? People clown me on SEC Mike's Twitter page or whatever. I think it was him or something. Bro, I got booed off Twitter for saying that they could lose their last 6 games. You see them? They could lose their last 6.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. Like, that schedule is tough, and then their schedule next year is even tougher. But, bro, they think, at Missouri's a cakewalk? Boy, come on.
The last 3 is at LSU, at Missouri, then Florida State.
Thank you. And then they got Arkansas. They got
Arkansas and Georgia before that.
Georgia. Yep.
Yeah, they got. That's tough. Their last 6 are at South Carolina, then Florida, or then Georgia, then Arkansas, and then then at LSU, at Missouri, and then Florida State.
Thank you.
You might win a game in there. You might get Arkansas or something.
No. Talk to me.
Yeah, no. I'm picking Florida because they're at home on the Billy Napier deal. Can't call him the Cajun Harsin. He might be the Cajun Willie Taggart, but Harsin didn't recruit.
Yeah.
And Billy Napier is recruited. Now, Willie Taggart recruited. He also stepped in front of the podium and said, my players aren't listening to me anymore, which was one of the wildest outside of Gus saying, I think 6-4 is acceptable. All right. UK, Kentucky Wildcats ran it down Florida's throat last week, like we talked about. They're going to UGA. Interesting game here. Both teams are ranked, correct? I know Georgia is, obviously. I believe Kentucky got in there. I think this is going to be a close. I think this will be a good one. I'm going to say Georgia by 10. I think it's a muddy game. Georgia by 10-14.
I think Georgia wins by 17 plus.
Okay.
And the reason, look, it might sound crazy, but I think last weekend might have been the wake up call for this Georgia team. You saw Carson Beck grow up. Kentucky doesn't have anybody that can stop Brock Bowers. All right. Ladd McConkey should be getting back fully healthy. The only concern I have is Georgia can't run the ball. Not a lot of success on the ground. All right. I'm interested to see this Kentucky run game against this Georgia defense because we had a little success on them. So I am interested to see, can Kentucky keep it on the ground and have success because I'm not so sure about Devin Leary through the air.
Mm-hmm.
So I like Georgia.
Yeah. This is a big one, Blake. LSU at Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
You pick LSU. Why?
Dustin, I'm gonna tell you why I picked LSU, man. It's because I think they're reeling right now. I think that one stung last weekend, and I think they know that they're better than what they're showing right now. Jaden Daniels does not want to go out like this. Man, I think Missouri is very talented. Like, I think their offense and their defense are both pretty dang good. All right, they got playmakers on the outside on that offense. Like I said the other night, his quarterback play that great? It's shaky sometimes, but Cook can spin it here and there. All right,
Over 70% completion percentage this year.
Yeah,
Easy schedule.
Yeah, he can spin it here and there. Luther Burden, like I already said, top 5 receiver in the country. But this LSU team, this is going to be a different animal out there at Missouri. This is going to be a different animal. And I just think LSU's offense has too many playmakers, especially on the outside with Neighbors. I think he could have a big day. So I think LSU rebounds. Jaden Daniels doesn't want to go out like this. I like LSU.
I hear you. My reservation, I pick in Missouri. My reservation on picking Missouri is really nothing to do with the game. I think that Missouri should light them up. And I'm not saying they'll blow them out because I think that LSU is going to get theirs, but Missouri should have no problem moving the ball. If they don't shoot themselves in the foot, they should score 40 plus. Are you ready for the moment? You're 5-0. Yep. You're ranked. Now people are starting to believe. All week people are starting to say, okay, Missouri, I see you. I'm picking you now. Mm-hmm. So let's see. That's my reservation with Missouri. Are they ready for this moment? Are they really about to beat LSU with all the eyes on them to improve to 6-0? But I think their offense is legit, and I think they're going to do it. LSU, and I'm leaning towards picking us to beat them. LSU is in for a stretch, bro. I've watched every one of their games, damn near all the way through, and I have never seen LSU defense this soft. And I'm just a firm believer in programs are built on identities. And I've watched Auburn, even though the past couple of years, I watched us last year with a terrible offensive line, still put out. Tank Bigsby was 30 yards short of 1,000 yards, and Jarquez still had a nice season for a backup, and that was with a bad offensive line. It's in Auburn's DNA to always run the ball. Even this year, we just talked about at the beginning of this episode, with no passing attack, Auburn's averaging over 200 rushing yards a game, with a bunch of transfer portal G5 guys on the O-line. That's Auburn can be, if Auburn can run the football, then Auburn's always going to be in a game. I view LSU that way with defense. If LSU's playing LSU defense, then they can be in any game. But when they're not playing LSU's defense, when they're not playing fast, physical, LSU-style defense, that's what that program's built on, man.
Yeah.
That's what I know that they had the one flashy year with Joe Burrow. Like, you go back and look at LSU's passing numbers from that year, their program has never even come close to touching that before or since. That was, I don't want to say flash in the pan because they're a great program. They recruited all those guys and got them there. But just statistically that year, you had Chase and Jefferson and all these studs with freaking Joe Burrow, dude. Like, all these guys. So that's kind of why that happened. Historically, they're built on LSU physical, fast defense. Their defense isn't fast. Their defense isn't physical. Their defense isn't tough. If LSU's not playing LSU defense, I question the whole program. I think they got a lot more losses coming. I'm picking Missouri.
Love that. Love that.
CBS 2:30 game. All eyes on the Gumps are going to the Colt. I am taking the Colt, and this is the simple reason why. I think that A&M's defensive line is going to eat. I think they're going to eat. Now, if Bama wins this game, probably not going to pick against them at least until the Iron Bowl.
Yeah.
But because I've already picked against them one time, picked Ole Miss. Terrible pick. But I'm going A&M here. Jimbo, you've done it one time before. Come on. Come on, Aggies. Get it done. That defensive line eats. And it's going to be a 20-17 type game. And I think that Mac Johnson is good enough to make the throws and make the plays. And I think that defense is just they're gonna give that offensive line for Bama hell, dude. I'm going with the Aggies.
Jalen Milroe, show it to me on the road. That's why I'm taking A&M.
Yep, love that. Arkansas at Ole Miss, man. Arkansas, what is going on?
I tell y'all every year. I mean, what are we doing hyping up Arkansas? Like, why? Why do we do that? I don't get it. Everybody's like, oh, KJ Jefferson for the Heisman. And I'm like, man, stop. All right. He couldn't even beat BYU. All right.
I said they were going 9-3.
9-3?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Dustin, we got to have a talk, brother. Really? What? Arkansas, they ain't been good but one time in my life.
I know, man. I know.
Darren McFadden and Felix Jones. Like,
I thought they were going to run the ball down everybody's throat, Blake.
Well, they can't because they're dog water. And look, I think they're traveling to Ole Miss. The way Jackson Dart and that offense is playing, Quinshon Judkins, I like them to put up a lot of points on this Arkansas team. And remember what happened to Ole Miss last year at Arkansas. You remember that? Arkansas blitzed them, bro. That was in the Lane Kiffin turmoil and everything and all that stuff that happened. The Arkansas students were chanting Auburn and everything. I think Ole Miss returns the favor.
Yeah, is that the Cole Kublik game?
Yeah. Yeah.
Cole Kublik game. Yeah, I'm with you. Ole Miss is gonna put them on them. I'm glad you mentioned that because I know how Lane Kiffin is. He's gonna take that personal. He's going to remember that. He'll talk about it before the game. He'll be throwing the clipboard, and they're gonna hang up 50-60. And I don't know about Arkansas. I don't know. I don't know how many more dubs. FIU. Yeah, FIU, maybe Mississippi State.
No, man, they got the greatest quarterback in the world.
Hey, Cam Newton 2.0. Blake's favorite. All right, Blake. Blake's favorite comparison. 6'5" quarterback to run. Who is he? Cam Newton.
God, it's so annoying, man.
All right, Blake, give your final thoughts, buddy.
My final thoughts. Greg Brooks, defensive back, Louisiana State University. Was diagnosed with a rare form of brain cancer. Man, prayers to you, brother. You and your family. Some of the saddest stuff that I've opened up social media to, man. I'll be honest with you. It doesn't feel good to even talk about it. Greg Brooks, man, we're just praying for you. We hope you battle this thing, and we want you to have a full recovery. And look, I hate LSU. I can't stand them. Next Saturday night it's going to be a battle, and I want to win it. But when it comes to a 20-year-old college student who is an athlete at that school, but also a human being, Dustin. And dude hasn't even got to experience life yet. He has no idea, and to hear that news. But one good thing is I did read where they said that there's a high survival rate, a better chance of survival because they were able to go in and get the tumor and everything, and it can't grow to other parts of his body and everything. So, but I'm just praying for the kid, man. Like when I read that, only thing I can think of is I have 2 kids, and I can't imagine for his parents, his family, all his loved ones, friends, tough deal. And he can't play football. and that's one of the biggest things to him. I'm sure he's sitting there going, man, I just want to play football, and not even worried about what's going on with his body. I'm sure the first thing that's running through his mind is, man, I want to get back out on the field. So praying for him, Dustin, praying for him, man, and the LSU football family, praying for you.
Yeah, for sure. I've said before, man, I've spent some time on that campus. I'm not trying to make this about me at all. I know a lot of people around that, around the LSU family, and obviously, tough day for them. So yeah, praying for him. Like you said, his parents, man, just a tough deal for the kid. He's living out his dream. He's playing Division I football at LSU, and now all of a sudden you're facing a life-threatening situation. So it's very tough. I will say that that is a very, very loyal fan base over there. I know that they're loud and boisterous and get a lot of crap, but they're awesome, man. I've had a lot of great run-ins with LSU fans. It's like my favorite road trip in the SEC. They'll talk trash to you, and then they'll feed you and make sure that you have a good time. They'll make sure that you're feeling good whenever you leave the tailgate. So I love those guys over there, man, and really praying for that kid, really praying for everybody involved with LSU, the team, and all that. I know that's tough, and I know that they're going to go out and play hard for him the rest of the year. So I'm glad that you spoke on that. We will definitely play for Brooks there. Now I'm gonna switch it up with a different kind of energy. So good thoughts there from Blake, but I gotta do what I gotta do. Listen. So something happened today in the Auburn, I guess you would say, podcast sphere.
Yeah.
And we all know Charlie 5 and Jake Crane had their situation. Mm-hmm. We've had Jake on the show, just on the Tuesday Night Live show, and we like Charlie 5. We've had some discussions with him behind the scenes type thing. We like Charlie. He's a good dude. So this is not picking sides. This is not saying anything about anybody. But what I saw was when the debate kind of, because the episode got released this morning, shout out to Zach Blackerby over at Locked on Auburn who did it and put it out. Then I saw this reactions, Blake. I saw reactions from people who have names like Frozen Tiger Man or Peyton Thorne's Captain Burner or something like this. And if this is your name, I just made those off the top of my head, so please don't take it personally. I'm not actually calling people out yet. But people like that, they do this, and then they were all crapping on Charlie 5, or they were all crapping on Jake, or they were crapping on both of them, right? I saw people saying this wasn't Auburn man material and all this kind of stuff. And I click on these people's profiles, and you don't have your real name, and you don't have your real picture. So this is no opinion about the episode and that debate and what happened. Not picking sides, not even speaking on that. I'm speaking on the people on the sidelines who don't even have a name and a face to your opinion. Because what did Jake and Charlie do today or whenever they recorded it? They put their face, they put their name. You can look those guys up. That's who they are. And they stated their opinions for knowing that you were going to respond. Anytime the camera gets turned on and you share an opinion, especially when you're passionate about it, people will respond. That's part of it. Now, we get on message boards like anybody else, mainly to try to find out any updates on recruiting or this, that, and the other, any injury update, whatever the case may be. And sometimes we see stuff, up-tempo podcast or Dustin is an idiot. And obviously I'm going to click on it. And who is it? A guy named Duke OT with a picture of a Snoopy dog on a message board. Call me an idiot for hating on Florida State one time. First off, brother, you got to be listening pretty hard to our podcast and our content because I rarely talk about Florida State. So you really got to be watching our stuff to have caught that one. Mm-hmm. All right, but appreciate your viewership. Also, a guy named Trash Panda in there, always hating on War Report, yet he pays for content. Crazy to me. But we see y'all in the message boards talking all this mess. There's another guy in there, the Wolf. Always, every weekend, after a show post, he talks crap about him. It's always about quarterback, too, because you don't agree with the quarterback opinion. The point I'm going to make in here with all this is Duke OT or the Wolf or Trash Panda, Who are you? You have no picture of yourself. You have no name, but you talk big nuts, boy. You talk big nuts, don't you? You got big nuts, but you don't want to tell me who you are. You want to hide behind the fake wall. You want to hide behind the burner. So I got sick of it because I've said it before and I'll say it again. I'll go to war with y'all. I don't care. It don't bother me a bit. Like, y'all were lame. I'm talking specifically to people who hide behind burners and talk hard. If you have a burner because you don't want to put your stuff out there, that's cool. I get that. Okay. Back in the day, I had a fake Twitter that had like 3 followers because I just wanted to follow Auburn's official accounts. I didn't talk crap to anybody. I never called nobody out because that would be soft. Because if you're going to call somebody out, tag them, say their names, and put your face to it. So here I am. I'm Dustin Smith, born in Brewton, Alabama, raised in Pensacola, Florida. This is my face. I'm going to call y'all out right now. Rico, ball knower. His ad is @GritCEO69. Robbie9, his ad is @RedZoneRobbie. And Coach, his ad is not Coach Harzen. Okay. So the tweet that I put out was, I said, hey, all you guys talking crap about Jake and Charlie hiding behind accounts, I ain't with you. I don't get it. At least those guys stepped up to the plate and put out content. Jake puts out content every single day.
Yep.
He puts his opinion out every single day. Doesn't hide from it either. You know where to find Charlie 5. You know what message boards he's on. You know what day he goes on Locked On Charlie Tuesdays. You know that. You know where to find him. But Rico and his 52 followers, and he is the CEO of Company 69, I guess. He told me I was backpedaling because I ran out of characters, right? So the second part of my tweet was, and hey, if I'm offending Frozen Tiger with this tweet, I sincerely apologize because I deeply respect the insider community, the fake insider community. That's what I said. Clear sarcasm. I'm being a smartass. If you listen, you know, nothing new. And then they all start commenting, these 3 people, Rico, Robbie9, Red Zone Robbie. I didn't know I was talking to Robbie Ashford today on Twitter. And then Coach not Coach Harson here. Said I was backpedaling. Listen to me loud and clear. That second part was sarcasm, and I'm here to tell you right now, no backpedaling here. Y'all are lame. You're lame as hell. Combined, you 3 guys don't have 120 followers. But you want to act like insiders that have some kind of scoop or know something. The Coach guy zoomed in on my picture and showed my chin hair and called me a ginger. Brother, Pawpaw came from Ireland, okay? Pawpaw came from Ireland, right? We're Irish. I ain't going to show you my pubes. They're spotted. There's some red ones in there, some black, some red. I don't know what to tell you. But when you start talking about people's appearance, you don't have an argument. And when you hide behind a burner account, y'all are calling out my guy Tanner. Tanner's got his picture. Tanner's got his name. Who are you? Who are you? Because if you are as attractive as you say you are, then why are you hiding behind a burner? I'm here to tell y'all again, and I'm going to tag y'all in this. You're lame. I can't stand you. You're corny as hell. No one pays any attention to you. And I'm going to block you tomorrow after I tag you and post you in this, but I'm not going to run scared. But I make a tweet, don't say anything, don't put no names or nothing, and then you pop in butthurt because I'm talking about you. I'll say it one more time. People with inside information don't have fake burner accounts. You're not an insider. And if you're not trying to pretend to be an insider and you just have a burner and you're talking crap, don't talk crap to people who are out here getting it. Okay? You pay for Twitter. Guess what? I make that 11 back off of Twitter, idiot. You got to spend money to make money. I have a real job. Me too. I work 50 hours a week. And while I'm at that job, making that money, while you're arguing on my Twitter post, you're making me more money on that. So appreciate you. It's called making money while you're making money. But I would expect anybody with 52 followers to understand that not Coach Harson. So everybody that has subscribed and continues to support us, I love you guys so damn much. War Eagle, and we will be back with you guys Sunday at 3 p.m. Central Time. We're out of here.
War Eagle, baby.